Good morning. Welcome to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. Nagpapasalamat. Thanking you for making time to join us today and hoping, praying, and wishing you a really great day as well as a great week. Let's be thankful to God for all the blessings we have, that we woke up, that we get out of bed, that you get to join us. Maraming salamat. And today is April 19, 2023. It's a Wednesday, midweek. We still have a lot of stuff to do, and I do hope that you have your week planned out, or at least the rest of the week planned out. But don't forget, also make plans for your weekend, for your rest. Yun ang tinatawag nilang work-life balance. Trabaho tayo when there is work to be done, but over the weekend, especially on Sundays, observe your day of Sabbath or your rest because marami hindi na po nagpapahinga. Anyway, today, let's get started with a daily starter from author-writer Nora Roberts. And this is a very good daily starter for many of you who are procrastinators, who are doubters, who are lacking in faith and boldness. Kumbaga kakaba-kaba, this one's for you, baby. If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you're always in the same place. Think about it. If you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you're always in the same place. That is a really good daily starter for many of us, especially those of you who are reluctant because you encounter the spirit of rejection. Marami sa atin, ayaw gumalaw, we don't want to take chances, we won't risk anything, or worst of all, we won't even act. And we're all, and you might be waiting for the right time. The right time is now. Kasi maraming, I'm waiting for the right time, I'm waiting for the right conditions. There's no better time than now because we are not promised tomorrow. And I have learned to fight the spirit of rejection. Marami sa atin, ayaw bumili, ayaw tumawad, ayaw magtangka. And, sometimes it's more our fear than the reality. Okay, so remember that you're always in the same place if you don't step forward. Let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star, April 19, 2023, and the headlines go. Abalos, public deserves truth on PNP drug bust. Okay. Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhar Abalos said that while he respects General Rodolfo Azurin Jr., the public deserves to know the truth after the Philippine National Police Chief denied a cover-up in the arrest of dismissed Police Master Sergeant Rodolfo Mayo in connection with the 990 kilos of shabu valued at 6.7 billion pesos seized in October last year. Okay? In law, I quote, there is the principle of res ipsa loquitur. The thing speaks for itself. The video in itself is a statement about what transpired, Abalos said yesterday. Yan po, okay? And if you would, please read my column, my opinion piece in the Philippine Star this morning, today, because I pointed out that if the PNP or the government is already busting 6.7 billion pesos worth of shabu in one operation alone. And last year, they busted 1.56 or 58 billion pesos of shabu in one bust alone, not to mention the many other 100 millions worth of shabu. Then we are a narco state. Lalo na pagkaganyang mga pulis. Ilan ba yung pulis? Sabi, 59, okay? Or 59 policemen ba yun that should have been charged? Anyway, read all about it. And at the top of the Philippine Star, PNP declares Bantag considered armed and dangerous. Okay? Fugitive, okay, fugitive, former Bucor chief Bantag has been declared armed and dangerous by the PNP. Meanwhile, the court-martial proceedings against ex-PSG chief begins. The court-martial of former PSG chief Brigadier General Jesus Durante III over the murder of Davao City-based model Yvonette Chua has started last year. Durante, Philippine Army official Colonel Michael Licayco and 5 enlisted personnel are being held at the Eastern Mindanao Command Headquarters at Camp Panacan. Ayan. Meanwhile, no Pinoys in Taiwan seeking repatriation in spite of the military exercises being conducted by China surrounding Taiwan and the friction between China and the U.S. regarding Taiwan and the West Philippine Sea. Filipinos in Taiwan, all 150,000 plus of them, are not seeking repatriation. Okay. On the other side of the top of Philippine Star, Teves assets may be frozen with terrorist tag. The Anti-Money Laundering Council may freeze the assets of suspended Congressman Arnulfo Teves Jr. if he is designated as a terrorist by the Anti-Terrorism Council, according to the DOJ. That is, once he is officially, formally charged with the murder of the governor of, Degamo, Governor Degamo. Okay. The big photo in the center spread of the Philippine Star, a man passes a COVID-themed mural in Barangay Ilog in Pasig yesterday. The city government of Manila is mulling the return of mandatory masking amid an uptick in COVID infections last month. Okay. The World Health Organization said it expects to declare an end to the pandemic sometime this year as COVID-19 becomes more like the seasonal flu. Okay, yan pong yan. Okay, photo. Okay. No need to restore mandatory masking according to the DOH. Even with the recent increase in COVID-19 cases in the country, the DOH said it sees no need to reimpose mandatory face mask rules. Okay, this is apparently in reaction to the bright idea of City of Manila officials to reimpose mandatory wearing of face mask in Manila. Okay. Philippines eyes full rice self-sufficiency So, sufficiency. Natawa na bulol tuloy ako in 2027 after saying they will import or they're planning to import, then saying they won't import. They're now saying the Department of Agriculture in a statement yesterday said it is seeking 100% rice self-sufficiency by 2027. Ambot sa imo. Okay, let's now go to the more serious, more meaningful part of the news. Sad news, ladies and gentlemen. Please bear with me as I read this piece. Ambassador Secretary Albert Del Rosario, the Philippines' consummate diplomat and patriot, has passed away at 83 years of age. Former Foreign Affairs Chief Albert Del Rosario, who successfully led the Philippines in challenging China's South China Sea claim before an international court, has died at the age of 83. Del Rosario, who served under the Second Aquino administration from 2011 to 2016, died yesterday while en route to the United States, according to the DFA. The family of Ambassador Albert Ferreros del Rosario is deeply saddened to announce his passing April 18. He is survived by his wife Gretchen, their children and grandchildren. Okay. Those of you who are unfamiliar with Ambassador Del Rosario, Secretary Del Rosario, many people respect and honor him as a true patriot who defended, protected, and fought for the rights recognition of Filipinos, and even risked his own life when he was with the DFA in Tunisia, trying to help repatriate Filipinos in a war-torn area. Okay. Meanwhile, inspectors of railway inspectors and workers check the tracks and carriages of a Philippine National Railways train which derailed near the Don Bosco crossing in Makati City yesterday. Authorities said the incident happened at 11:20 in the morning. No one among the 400 passengers and crew were injured. PNR management is investigating the cause of the derailment and has suspended train operations from Don Bosco Station to Alabang. Ayan po, disgrasya na naman ang train service dyan sa papuntang Alabang. Okay, that's all the news we have. And now we will go to our interview with a very talented, bright, and young actress. Hindi, alam ko, singer. Singer, actress, at apparently she's now a mother also. But let's go for a quick break first because we will be talking about a concert. To my recollection, the first concert in Malacañang Palace. Am I right or am I wrong? We'll be right back here on Agenda. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I've read and heard that Malacañang Palace will soon be the venue of a big concert. It is a concert that is supposed to be an offering or a recognition not of actors, actresses, and singers and but a concert in honor of men and women in uniform. Now, the reaction to that sort of news is, paano yun? Security pala ang sakit ng ulo na. And then who will get to go to the concert, etc., etc. But apparently the concert is for real, and there are a number of stars signing up, joining the event, and our guest today is someone who is involved in the program. So we'll find out what exactly is this concert, aside from the fact that I'd like to know what has she been up to, because the last time I interviewed her was many decades ago. Bata pa si Sabel nung na-interview ko siya, but her name is not Sabel. Gabriel, roll out the Betamax, please.
Cris Villonco is an award-winning singer, thespian, and businesswoman. She is also known for singing the theme song of the classic children's TV series Hiraya Manawari. Villonco is also the co-founder of the theater group Red Turnip Theater. She is currently the creative consultant for Konsyerto sa Palasyo, a concert series in Malacañang Palace Complex featuring the best up-and-coming Filipino artists.
Good morning, Cris. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir. You don't know how happy I am to see you. It's been years, and I am so honored and grateful that I am here with you.
Well,
everybody, of course, listening to Agenda and watching. Of course, I just went straight for you, and I totally ignored everybody else. But thank you so much.
I was kind of surprised when you came on screen, because I was still, I guess I was still thinking of the little girl or the teenager that I interviewed. So bubbly, so natural. But you haven't changed at all. I mean, you look
was
great.
I bubbly and natural then? I would not know. I wouldn't think so.
Well, it's coming out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are still shocked to find out that I am turning 40, and that I've been on stage since I was 9. So a lot of people are used to my bangs being a little here and my hair being here.
Yeah, I remember that. You had a different hairstyle back then. But glad to know that time has been very kind to you. You look great, and you're still the bubbly, energetic person I used to know. Now, the thing is, what have you been up to? Because all the while, I thought you were one of the many actors, theater performers who essentially gone to the States because you could work there, and everything locked down in the Philippines. Did you go abroad for a time?
I only went abroad for a long period of time when I went to college. So that was only from 2002 to 2006. When I came back, there was an opportunity for me to maybe explore the options of staying there, but I've always felt the need to come home. So even when 2006 came around and I graduated, I asked my mom and my dad if I could just come home and maybe pursue a law degree, or maybe pursue politics as well. And so at that point, I even worked for 2 NGOs.
Are you serious? Pursue law, pursue politics? I mean, hello, binigay na ng Panginoon lahat ng regalo sa'yo, katangian as a performing artist, and you will go into law and politics?
Well, I think, sa pamilya po kasi namin, you know them. So it's either you were a branch of lawyers and lawmakers, or a branch of celebrities and artists and that kind, no? So we had opera singers on one end, and of course my lola being a TV producer and also an actress, and then of course I have my lolo who was a lawyer, and then of course my father also is a lawyer, and so is my tito. So we have this very wide range of possibilities, I'd like to say. So I mean, it was something that was probably going to happen at some point, or maybe there was going to be exploration there. But I only did it for a year. I did NGO work for a year, and then I decided to pursue theater like for seriously, because theater to me came in obviously at a young age at 9, and slowly the trajectory of my career was not anymore really theater. It kind of became foundation, singing for foundation work, singing for NGOs, and also dabbling already into TV, singing primarily. And I had the hopes of becoming a pop singer at one point in time, which no, let's not go back there.
Why not?
I know that I tried to do that. But I definitely found my first love in theater and the passion in theater. And so starting mga 2007, 2008 onwards until the pandemic hit, I was primarily in the theater scene.
Okay. And what were your thoughts at that time? Because I got a chance to interview Lea Salonga, and she was kind of like, where are we going to end up with this, etc. But lucky for her, she got a lot of gigs abroad, etc. What about you? What were you thinking when COVID hit and all the lockdowns happened?
I think, well, I was actually in the middle or at the beginning of opening a show at that time, and I was absolutely heartbroken. I was in the middle of doing a really great show with Ateneo called Next to Normal, and I was and it was heartbreaking to see everybody who put their hearts into this show, and all of a sudden we all had to come to a stop. But what was even more heartbreaking was months and then a year and then years going into the pandemic, you could see that the creative industries in general here in the Philippines was the one that was badly hit, and I'm coming from being a producer of shows, and then coming from a place of being a performing artist, and then I'm also managing White Space Manila, which is an events place in Makati, and all that shut down. And it's this constant worry that, oh gosh, how are you going to support the people who actually, your team who work with you, and how are we going to revive the events industry? How are we even going to revive the creative arts? I mean, I wasn't even thinking about my own personal journey at that time, because even during the pandemic, early on, I said, well, maybe this is also a time for me to slow down, because I had been married already for about 4 years, approaching the pandemic, and we hadn't really sat down and discussed even pursuing, growing a family.
Who's we, Cris? Because everybody thinks of you as our little baby, our little girl, and suddenly you're married, you're a mother. But who did you end up marrying? I'm sorry, I've been out of the loop for a long time.
It's okay, sir. Totally understandable. Also because my husband chooses to be out of my public life. But I did marry a wonderful man with the name Paolo Valderrama. I met him through his sister, who is also a theater artist. But Paolo is in a completely different industry. Thank God that God gave me this person. And he is in the food manufacturing industry, Marby Food Ventures. And yes, so he lives his life making and formulating bread.
Oh, okay, my kind of guy. Okay, it's my wife and I experiment with the kind of bread we make here at home.
Yes, sir. So it's a completely different life from me. So whenever he comes home to me and my drama, it's really quite an exciting time for him.
Okay. Okay. I'd figure by then he would already be used to theater people and
Oh,
their
no,
drama,
no.
but
It doesn't
why?
change. He's always like, huh? Talaga? Ganito ba talaga? So at least I'm just grateful that he understands or he tries to understand, even if he's so frustrated already. But yeah, so at the height of the pandemic, we decided to pursue having children, and I
Mhm.
realized that I actually had a problem,
Oh.
and I had difficulty conceiving. And so
Mhm.
we sought IVF, and did not happen for me, actually, unfortunately. But by some miracle, after telling my husband I need to rest from the very stressful period of trying for a baby, miraculously we were blessed. We were
Mhm.
naturally blessed with a child. And so we now have a 1.5 year old called Leon, named after my grandfather, Leonardo.
So it's a boy.
It's a boy.
Good
So
luck with that.
I know. I've never experienced even having a brother. So how amazing is that to have a little boy?
No, and I say good luck with that because if the mother was Chris, and that's at least 50% of a turbocharger there. So I'm sure.
Unfortunately, yes, he has it. He's got it. And he looks like me. Yeah.
Okay. So how has it affected you? I mean, has it really slowed you down? Because clearly you're still busy doing theater or performance related work with this upcoming concert, and you are a producer for events. So how do you balance it? Because having a toddler or an infant in the house, I don't know the terms anymore. It's been 23 years, but how do you balance?
Well, so far he's a year and a half, so I can still control where he goes. I'm actually more worried when he's going into the 5-year-old, 7-year-old phase. But right now, it really is quite a joy to have him around. It's a joy to even see all the developmental phases happening and him interacting with everyone, not just me but the family as well. Of course, we're very careful because it's the pandemic pa rin,
Mhm.
but we try to celebrate every milestone, and we try to make sure that he is a well-rounded child. Now, how successful are we in that? God knows, in 10 years, maybe.
Well, I was just thinking yesterday of reminding a lot of the young couples like you that be careful about wanting so many children or so many big cute babies, because cute babies grow up to be college students, and they they're
And big
gonna
headache.
cost you a fortune and endless headaches. But I mean, you still love them. But so going back to that concern, the concern of making money, providing for the family, the future, what keeps you busy aside from Leon?
I think that with Leon, we also, me and my husband, of course, sat down and we were like, well, I think we also need to get me going in terms of creativity as well. I think that was a major concern of my husband. I think he knew that I wasn't going to be able to stop completely. And he always supported the idea of having, being able to somewhat attend to my creative roots, even when I was pregnant. So even at the height of the pandemic and the lockdown, I was performing online and I was doing a lot of that. Now that,
Performing. Wait a minute, Chris.
hmm,
Hold up. You're
yeah,
leaving me. You're leaving me in the
sorry.
run. But no. How do you perform online? I mean, I can perform online doing a talk show, but you're primarily a thespian and a singer.
Yes, actually,
How?
for a while, there was the birth of the live streaming applications. No, we have a very popular one, a Filipino app, and we noticed a lot of the performing artists, particularly from the theater community, were actually spending time online, singing to a mic, and talking to people online and connecting with people. And for a while, that's also what I did. And, I guess live events or events in general would find ways to be able to communicate and create shows for virtually by, like a lot of people don't think that they think it's so easy, no? Diba? We're sitting here, we're in front of the camera, we're in front of the computer. They don't know what goes on behind this. They don't know that there are lights behind these cameras, I mean, now palang we see it in TikTok, right? Because it's becoming so viral how people set up their own home setups to be able to look good. But, and so I guess during the pandemic, particularly in 2020, we would have events where they would say, okay, we're going to have to do like a mini show or a mini music video, but can you make sure this is the script? And then we want to see your camera angles. And then can you please move your camera here, there, everywhere? We'll just send you all the materials and the lights, and then you set it up. I mean, as an artist, diba, an artist will go there and do what they have to do. Memorize the song, memorize the lyrics, memorize the show, and then perform. But for you to be the one individually setting this up is a whole other story.
You're the technical director,
Right,
you're the lights
you're the lights, you're the sounds, you're making sure everything is okay. You have to have a separate recording to be able to send a clear one to whoever is mixing your music, if you're doing like a music video of sorts. So this is what performing artists had to face.
So you see, you essentially did semi-rough cuts and send it to somebody who would then edit it down. Because when you said online, I said, how do you do a live show,
Exactly, right? So can you imagine a person that like me, or even theater artists in general who are here in Metro Manila, who have the means or will be able to have some sort of support to do that? That was easier to do. But the next question is, what about all the other artists that were in all different parts of the country?
Yeah.
What about all these other artists na lumuluwas sa Maynila, na pumupunta sa mga restaurant to sing, or always had to have, we're at the mercy also of an audience. The mercy of an audience or a customer going crowd, restaurant, and I think this is also where Konsyerto sa Palasyo, which is what I'm doing now, was born out of.
Okay, before we run out of time, because hey, I can do a whole week program with you. There's just so much in the arts, etc. But before we run out of time, how did this Konsyerto sa Palasyo come? You're the artistic consultant in all of this. How did it happen?
Well, Konsyerto sa Palasyo, I am a creative consultant in Konsyerto sa Palasyo. And this is an initiative of the Office of the President to actually showcase the new faces of the performing arts industries. What am I saying about that? I think a lot of people think that whenever you perform in Malacañang, it is assumed you are a classical or cultural performer. But in this project, we actually opened our doors and searched high and low in different parts of the country for artists that have something to share, something to give, and we're also in areas that were badly hit. Like we have two, a father and son, harpists who also make harps, and they're based in Cebu. And in our Facebook page, Konsyerto sa Palasyo, we have mini videos, short videos about how these artists struggled and thrived during the pandemic. And so they, like this duo, they were discovered virally, and then there were all these videos about them, and so slowly they started to make a little more because of the exposure that they got. And so we are flying them in, and then now they're going to actually sing. They're actually going to play, sorry, the harp in Malacañang. And then we also have 3 rappers from Cavite, A.K. Fela. We have A.K. Fela, Glenn, and MC Julio. And they will be performing a rap in Malacañang, a rap piece in Malacañang. So that's kind of bringing this show into very many different ways. So we have harpists, we have rappers, we also have powerhouse vocalists, one from Metro Manila, hailed from Davao, and one from Quezon. And so we're also putting them in a number. Alongside Konsyerto sa Palasyo, it is not just to showcase new talents, but we're also paying tribute to a certain group, and in this particular one, we are paying tribute to the men and women of the armed forces of the Philippines. And that's why Konsyerto sa Palasyo, this first one is called Konsyerto sa Palasyo, Awit ng Magiting. And so our VIP guests for that event, for that evening, will be 400 members of the AFP along with their families.
Okay, so that answers a lot of questions, but let's clarify certain points, because the impression was, that's going to be a powerhouse concert of the usual celebrity performers, the very popular and commercial performers. Will there be any icons of the industry at the Konsyerto sa Palasyo?
I'm afraid I'm not allowed to say which one of our icons will be there. He is a noted composer, songwriter, very Filipino. And of course, but we also have...
Hindi naman yan kaedad at kamukha ko.
Huwag na natin. Surprise na lang po. Never mind, okay lang kung kaedadan kamukha nyo. Basta kakwapo ninyo and marunong po, diba? Talented. Okay na po yan. Anything goes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you can see, right?
Just a clarification. Baka sabihin nyo, Cito Beltran, napakayabang. Kasi po, napapagkama lang kami ni Ryan Kayabyab na magkamal.
Yes, that's right. That is right.
Ryan has been approached by people and said, "Uy, paki-interview naman ako." And I have been approached by people, "Turuan mo naman yung anak ko."
Buti na lang iba yung buhok ninyo.
Yeah.
Yun na nga po, since the show is a tribute to the AFP, to the members of the AFP, of course, we also have our celebrity AFP reservists. And some of them are actually gracing the show and performing as well.
Now, the big question is there, in past administration, they have actually showcased cabinet members as singers. Dito ba sa Konsyerto sa Palasyo under the BBM administration, meron bang mga official family members who will be singing as well or performing?
I think, sir, I'm very, very sure we have many, many talented singers in the office of the president and in the Malacañang grounds. But this show is primarily for the artists that we have searched and that we are so excited to showcase for that evening. So we are leaving it up to them to give us this beautiful show and to perform.
Okay, Cris, let's go for a quick break, our last break for the program. And after that, let's go into more details of the Konsyerto sa Palasyo and, of course, other stuff that you're doing. And we'll be right back here on Agenda.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda, and joining us this morning, we continue our conversation with Cris Villonco, and we are talking about the Konsyerto sa Palasyo in Malacañang Palace. Cris, when exactly is the concert going to take place?
The concert will be held on April 22, this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. And everybody can watch it on the live stream on our Facebook pages, which is RTVM, OPGovPH, which is the Office of the President's page, and of course, Bongbong Marcos.
Okay, now what about at the concert grounds? Okay, at the concert grounds, I'm sure it would be a security nightmare if they opened it to the public. So is it strictly for the 400 invitees from the AFP, or are there going to be exceptions?
Well, of course, since this is the first Konsyerto sa Palasyo and this is an initiative of the Office of the President, we are expecting that our President and our First Lady will be there as well, with some I think we have some confirmed guests from the government, from government officials, but they will not be taking the bulk of the main, obviously, the VIP guest list, which is the 400 members and their families that are coming there on Saturday. A lot of people have been asking if this is a ticketed event, or at some point are we going to be selling tickets. That was never the intention of Konsyerto sa Palasyo. This is more along the lines of, if you remember, in December, Malacañang gates opened for Simbang Gabi. So this is more alongside those kinds of projects rather than having a ticketed event.
And am I correct with the impression that this is not a one-off? It's supposed to be a series of concerts?
Yes, we are hoping that with everybody's support and hopefully they enjoy the show, that we're going to be able to do this so we can showcase new talents and more talents all over, not just from the Philippines, maybe from Filipinos from all over the world. We don't know. And obviously we'll also be doing more tributes. So right now we are looking at every 3 months, and to be held in different parts of not just, it's such a broad thing to say that it's going to be on the Malacañang grounds, but it will never be in the same place. We will have it situated in different parts of Malacañang so that even on the live stream you can see that. You can see the beauty of the palace.
Why is that? Okay, that last sentence from you, so you could see the beauty of the palace, that makes sense. But why only in Malacañang? Are people being sensitive to political undertones, or is there really a reason for containing it in Malacañang aside from security?
Oh, no, not at all. I don't think it has anything to do with political undertones or anything like that. But I think there's always this, even as a performing artist, whenever somebody would tell me, oh, there's an inquiry for you to sing in Malacañang, there's this added pressure and there's this added esteem of actually being able to perform there. And so I think that right now, of course, we're exploring the Malacañang grounds, but I honestly cannot speak for my team. But I have a feeling at some point this is really just a way also for the president to highlight performing artists, no? And it's great to have it in Malacañang, but hopefully I am hoping that we're going to be able to branch out into other places. But for now, there seems to be a lot of places in Malacañang right now that we can actually perform in.
Well, you have the golf course, you have
and even all the halls that they're restoring, and it really is quite a beautiful place to be in.
Well, that's something to look forward to. Now, there's a toss-up as far as impressions go. Some people are under the impression that the concert is to actually recognize or bring back the spotlight to Filipino artists and performers, and the other is more to recognize the people in uniform, the men and women in uniform. Then there's also the issue that, once you start this, it's not going to end because people will say, oh, bakit sila lang? Kami naman. The Philippine Navy, or the PNP, or etc.
Yes.
What are the plans?
I think right now, well, my directive is to just make sure that Konsyerto sa Palasyo, our first show, will definitely be seen and heard by not just the ones who are watching it live, but also live stream and hopefully all over the world. And we are really, really hoping that with the support that we're going to garner and that we're going to be getting, we will be able to showcase more. So if it's, of course, with the AFP, that includes Army, Navy, and the Air Force. And they also actually have a little bit of they have a contribution to the show because we sat down with certain members and we also wanted to have a little bit of their input in the show. Of course, I mean, this is about them, so we should celebrate them, right?
Hey, they've got a lot of great singers out there. You'd be shocked.
Yeah, so it is something that definitely I hope that they will enjoy. And alongside all the other shows that we are planning, and trust me, we're still here. We're still right here in the first show.
Yeah.
We will be paying tribute to other groups as well, other deserving.
Okay, is the concert going to be primarily just a lot of singing? And I'm sorry if it sounds so curt, but when you say concert, it's either singing or musical performances, like philharmonic, etc. But from what I've been reading, parang halo-halo. Or what can the audience expect?
Yes, we actually have so much. We have a spoken word artist, Kenny Sibayan, who's from Ilocos. Of course, we have a choir from Ilocos, Sammy Weng, and then we have, of course, the harpist from Cebu, and we have a band. We have a band together with our musical director who hails from Iloilo, and then of course we have our rappers. We have our 3 rappers from Cavite doing numbers as well, and then we have another rapper from Parañaque, and then we have powerhouse vocalists, of course, because we never run out of wonderful vocalists in the Philippines. So as you can see, there's just going to be this whole mix and extensive range of artists that we want to welcome to the Palace. And we're hoping that as the months go by and we're able to explore some more, we want movement artists, beatbox artists. This is the kind of thing where, how we always have all these talent shows all over the world, flying over Filipino talents who are able to do such crazy, wonderful things. And why not us? Why can't we also showcase that? And so we are opening the doors to whatever talented possibilities come our way.
Okay, now there's this question. As an artist yourself and consultant under Presidential Communications Office, what other forms of support can government provide to artists? Because clearly this concert is the opening number, so to speak, in showcasing Filipino artists, not just the commercial artists, but the homegrown talents. What other support is the BBM administration rolling out? Because the president has said that he will give support to the artists.
Yes, I think with what he said during his sauna, that is definitely on the plan and on the agenda. Unfortunately, I am not the best person to speak for what the Office of the President has in store for artists. But rest assured, I am pretty sure that there is definitely a plan, and hopefully in the coming months we'll be able to hear and see it.
I'm curious, Cris, because the little I know of concerts, etc., it takes a special skill to direct a show like that. And there are directors, show directors that specialize for concerts. Who's going to direct this program?
This will be under Undersecretary Franz Imperial, who he's the Undersecretary for Broadcast Production in the Presidential Communications Office, and he is also the Executive Director of Radio Television Malacañang. Sir Franz and I actually go way back. We were both once upon a time OFWs in Disney. In Hong Kong Disney. And yeah, isn't it amazing how our career paths change?
Ang sarap mo naman mag-OFW, no? Disneyland.
It's something, it's something, how amazing and wonderful and blessed I am that I was able to do that, because you get to see working in a corporate performing arts, performing situation. So you're not just being an artist, you're actually also being part of a corporation. So it's half professional, like office work, and also another way, you're also doing your creative thing and you're also singing. So Sir Franz and I go way back, and we worked there once upon a time, and now we find ourselves here, and it was actually him who got me on board to do this project. And so together with our team, our broadcast production team, we've been working on this for about a month to 2 months now.
Yeah, forgive me, but you really speak fast for me nowadays. Franz, what's her family name?
Franz Imperial. Undersecretary
okay.
Franz
Okay,
Imperial.
now Undersecretary Franz Imperial is in charge, but who's doing the show directing? As in, is it Paul Soriano? Are they getting an outside director to?
No, sir. It's going to be Sir Franz and me as floor director.
Oh, okay. So nilahat nyo na, pinakyaw nyo na.
We have a team, the broadcast production team, and we wouldn't be able to do it without them. So special shout out to them. And we have, so there's Sir Franz, there's of course ASEC Karen Alvarez, and together we have been working on this show for about a month to 2 months now. Well, them longer than me, because I just came on board maybe about a month or 2 months ago.
Okay, did everybody jump at the idea, or did people go, teka, RTV Malacañang to, ha? We do documentary and presidential coverage. We don't do concerts. Was there resistance? Were there concerns, etc.?
I don't think so. I think with the landscape right now, the creative landscape that we have, I don't think we can shun any possibilities that come our way, really. There's just, with the birth of virtual existence, whatever it may be, it really is something that we welcome. And talent, we welcome talent in all forms, right? And the Filipino is really good at that, because if we don't have the basic resources or what we think is a mic, then we're going to find ways. We're going to find ways to use a leaf as an instrument. So why not? Let's do it. Let's explore and see what we've got.
Okay, now on the personal note, what are your plans once this project is off the ground and completed? You've done the concert. What are you moving to, or are you going to stay in, okay, let's do concert 2, concert 3, or do you have something up your sleeve?
Right now, sir, I'm really happy where I'm at, because I think after performing for quite some time now on the theater stage, and also after what happened during the pandemic and seeing how many of our performing colleagues were affected, I think I really wanted, in a strange way, I guess in my own heart, I manifested, how else can I help? How can I help? How can I help everyone else? And maybe this is Armida Sigurreina saying, it's your turn. I don't know. But this is definitely, I love doing what I do now. I love discovering new talent. And I love knowing that they're going to be able to share it to the world.
Well, you hit a chord there when you mentioned your Lola Armida, because I love that lady. And we were foes, we became friends, we became brother and sister in the Lord.
Everybody's foe. She was even mine at some point.
Well, I love her label for me. You Bible terrorist. But,
Yeah,
I miss her. I do miss her, and I would be happy if you stepped into her shoes. And clearly, you have a passion to help others. How are you planning to do it, or what's your vision, long-term vision or idea of how you could possibly do it?
Well, ever since she passed away, Aawitan Kita Foundation was actually passed on to me. Reina Films is now being handled, of course, by my uncle Carlito Sigin Reina, and of course his wife Bebeth. But Aawitan Kita Foundation, so that means the music, the costumes, everything that was done during Aawitan Kita and what was continued on until maybe around 2010 or 2015 for that matter, until she passed. We have it, and we're still trying to figure out how we are going to be able to share the amount of resources we have. We have costumes, we have written notepads from Levi Celerio. I mean, we have all of these things at our fingertips that are now being stored very properly by my mother in a storage house. And so we also are planning on our end how we're going to be able to disseminate the wonderful information and history that Aawitan Kita has made, and the mark that they've made on Filipino culture.
The word museum comes to mind, and modern adaptation of Aawitan comes to mind, like,
Yes. And also
somewhere
fun
in time.
comes to mind. So we're gonna have to figure out all of these things along the way.
Okay, well, Cris, thank you very much for your time today. And I do hope that the Lord will protect you, watch over you, bless the work of your hands, and bless your husband, and especially Leon. And I pray that everything will bring glory to the Lord. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, Agenda.
Okay, and with that, we now move to our blessing for the week, and it comes from Cory Ten Boom, and she said, "Never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God." I pray that your day will go well. I pray that the Lord will smile upon you and upon the work that you do. God bless all of you. Please keep it here on One News.